Hey Westside family and friends, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are coming here weekly to address topics to break the stigma of mental illness. And so we want to get you comfortable with talking about and sharing, much like we share any other medical condition. I'm an advocate of whole person care, and I want us to begin to reshape our thoughts and our conversations about how we view mental illness and physical health concerns, because they really go together, hand in hand. And so oftentimes people don't realize that if I have some type of physical health concern, then it's most likely going to affect my emotional state and my well-being. And so we highly encourage that if you are met with some type of physical health challenge or some type of medical concern, or even a mental health concern, that we really want to encourage you to consult with also a therapist. And so not just a friend. Friends can be really beneficial in those times of need, or a support system. They can be added to that treatment plan. But we really encourage that you follow up with and seek the assistance of a professional, such as a counselor or a therapist. And so this person is going to be trained in the art of counseling or therapy, and they're going to guide you through some of those life challenges that you may encounter. And they're going to do that in a confidential setting. And they'll help you to identify those goals that you want to accomplish. They're going to listen to you non-judgmentally, and they're going to support you as you become a better person and as you tackle those life challenges. So here's what you want to look for in a therapist, or those credentials that you want to look for in a therapist and or psychiatrist in the states of Missouri or Illinois, since that's where we're primarily based. So in the states of Missouri and Illinois, you're going to look for a therapist with the credentials LPC, Licensed Professional Counselor, LCPC, Licensed Clinical Professional Counselor, LCSW, Licensed Clinical Social Worker, or Licensed Master Social Worker, because they can accept some of those insurances, Licensed Marriage Family Therapist, so LMFT. And then you also have your clinical psychologist. I know I'm throwing out a lot of acronyms here for you, so bear with me here. But those are some of the trusted, degreed and credentialed professions. And then you're also going to have your advanced practice nurse practitioners, and they specialize in prescribing medicines under a doctor or a psychiatrist. And then you have your MD or your DO, which have a specialty in psychiatry. Right? So now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right into a topic that is sort of taboo in the church. And that's going to be suicide. And so oftentimes we try to skip over that. We don't really want to talk about it. But one of our goals and our themes that the pastor has challenged us with is to really reach out to one another. So doing that in-reach, doing that outreach. And so we have got to really take it one step further in reaching out to our loved ones and actually, looking at each other and focusing in on it. And so I'm going to quote some statistics for us. So suicide is one of the leading causes of death, and more specifically, it's ranked number 2 in people ages 10 to 14 and 25 to 34. It also ranks number 9 in the total age group of persons 10 to 64. It also has a far-reaching impact. So if you're on social media, we've heard several instances of people who have died by suicide. So some famous pageant contestants and recent country superstar who's died by suicide. And those effects are long lasting. So it affects our family members, it affects our coworkers, it affects our friends. And so there's long-term implications. And even if you don't, or if the person who has attempted but was not successful, or with their completion, or was not successful with their attempt. They have long-term implications with their non-fatal injuries. So why are we talking about this? It's, again, we oftentimes peruse over this subject, but a lot of us have these thoughts and we try to skim over them. So I really implore us to think about seeking out professional help, because we don't have to die from this, or we don't have to die from this particular disease. So I'm going to ask you all some questions, and I want you to be honest, and I want you to reach out if the answers are yes. So have you or a loved one had thoughts of self-harm or completing suicide? These thoughts can be from vague, or they can be fleeting. They can be constant. But if that answer is yes, I want you to reach out. And I'm going to give you a number. Has there been any changes in you or loved one's moods recently? If that answer is yes, I want you to reach out. Are you or someone that you love isolating from others or not answering calls? Have you or a loved one been in a down or depressed mood for days on end, and you just can't seem to shake it? And then have you or a loved one experienced some recent trauma or life crisis? Now, one of these questions, you just said yes to one of these questions. They're not just singularly an indicator, but they are indicators that something maybe we need to investigate this a little bit more. So I'm going to give you the numbers to our local BHR crisis line. And so if you are local, I'm going to give you the local number. But if you are even out of state, I am also going to give you that number as well. And so we want you to either call local 911, or we want you to call this crisis number for you. And somebody will be on the phone immediately and reaching out to you. So the local number is 314-469-6644. Toll free is 1-800-811-4760. And I'm asking these questions because I want us to get comfortable with being able to recognize when our family, when our loved ones, and when our friends' moods change. And when I want us to be able to seek out and point them in the right direction for help. And so all of these questions that I just previously asked are warning signs. And so I urge you to take those numbers down and have them at the ready in the event that we need to be able to use those. And so finally, I live by this professionally. We are all one crisis away from having a diagnosable mental illness. So if nothing has shown us this, COVID surely has. So let's take care of ourselves, family. Peace.